So honoured, delighted to see you. Really, really pleased to have this conversation with you. It's a subject that's very dear to my heart, given that I am often travelling on my own as a solo traveller, woman of a certain age. I'm just going to introduce you to those people who don't know who you are as somebody who's had a really interesting, very varied life and career. One of the things that stood out to me when I was reading about you is how entrepreneurial you've always been. And I think of entrepreneurship as being somebody who's prepared to have a go, to take some risks, to do something different and new and interesting, to see if it will work. Not too worried about if it doesn't, because if failure might teach you something or whatever. So that's the impression that I've got from you, that you're one of these people that's really good at that. And it's actually ended up with something very successful for you, which is now in the south of France, because that's where you live. And you now run a Geets business, and also you started something very interesting and exciting, which you call Me Retreats, which are for midlife and older women. And I want to find out all about that and all about, well, all about you and everything that you do, really. So that's what we're going to do here. So first of all, a very simple question. Tell us a little bit about your life before France and all the things that led up to you actually ending up as you are now living in
Thank you,
France.
first of all, very much for inviting me. I'm very flattered. And so, in answer to your question, yes, I'm Honor, 59 years old. By the way, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, if I grow up. So I haven't yet still found that, whatever that, what does success mean? But that's another talk. My background is has always been a bit entrepreneurial. Actually, when I left school, I actually started up a kissogram company in the days when they were very innocent. Dad was a kind of, on the one hand, embarrassed, but I also think quite proud that his 19-year-old daughter was doing something. But I fell into recruitment, basically. I went into a recruitment agency, not really sure what I wanted to do, and ended up doing that for the bulk of my career. So I was a recruitment consultant, and that is kind of identifying, of course, the right people for the right job, or the right job for the right people. So it's always been people skills. It was very much a specialist area, banking and IT. I winged it, or wung it. I don't know what the expression is, but and that's how I've done all my life. I've winged it. So I did that for many years, and then when I left that, I walked out of it. I'd had enough. I didn't like the culture of the people and all my bosses. And I actually set up with an old school friend a silkwear company, a silk loungewear company called Sassy and Rose. And we designed, retailed, wholesaled silk loungewear that you could also wear as outerwear. That didn't really kind of work, but I had such fun doing it. And then my then husband decided he wanted to move abroad, actually anywhere but the south of France. And I said, well, if we're going to go anywhere, it's got to be the south of France for me, because I had a bit of schoolgirl French, and because my mum was still alive at the time, and living down in southeast Kent where I grew up. And I wanted to be not that far away from her. All the other countries seem so far away. I agreed south of France, sunshine, obviously. But that was why. And in that year, while we were kind of preparing to go, I set up another business called Life Laundress, which was decluttering and sort of restyling people's homes and wardrobes and themselves. But there was a lot of therapy involved, I felt, in that. But I wasn't qualified. I just think that sometimes having somebody that's not your friend, that can be objective to help you with things, is the best therapist you could have. I love doing that. And I was gutted to leave. And I didn't really want to leave, but came to France, and I've been here 17 years. And that's where we're at.
Okay, and then something pretty shocking really happened to you at 50.
Right.
So tell us that bit of the story, because it's, yeah.
Hand on heart, and I'm very, very honest these days. I think, hence my name's Honesty with Honor. I know my marriage wasn't going well, but I'm quite old-fashioned. Grew up in a fairly old-fashioned background. I was going to make this work no matter what. I'd sold my home, sold, not left my friends because they could come visit, but you know what, given up a lifestyle. And I was going to make it work. Divorce was never an option, but I wasn't expecting for him to say it's over, particularly when we were on my 50th birthday holiday in Vietnam. I didn't really see that coming in that way. And, it was shocking. And my knee-jerk reaction was well, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go back to England. I have friends here, of course, but I can't stay here on my own in this huge property that we've created and run this business on my own. But then I thought, hang on, don't ever make big decisions in a shock. You just gotta like suck it up for a little while. And my daughter, who was 12, was ensconced in school, and I didn't want to take her out of that. So I just pulled my big girl pants up and got on with it and asked for help. I use something called workawayers. I've used Instagram to say, hey, who wants to come and help me in the summer and help clean my pool and do changeovers, but also go to the beach with me. All of that, I've asked for help along the way. And 99% have been women. And that's what I've been doing. I've been running this business on my own ever since. But it was never a choice. But I've kind of, evolved it.
Mm. I think that's a really inspirational story because, nasty things happen in life, don't they? And it's how you respond to those
Yeah.
things and what you do in that situation. I love what you said about taking time.
Yeah.
And I also love what you said about asking for
Yeah.
help, because I do think that sometimes we're not very good at
Yeah.
doing that. We think it's our mess, it's our problem. And yet, if you start to put it out there and say, hey guys, this is my situation, can you come and give me a hand here? It's incredible how people respond to that. They're kind, they want to help. They see your situation and totally empathize with it, I think, as well. That sort of shocking thing of at 50 on your birthday being dumped by your husband in that way, it's horrible. And all credit to you actually for what you've done since, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. And it is very inspirational. I love it. So just about let's now look at your business life, because this is what you've created and it's obviously a successful business that you're running there. So tell us a little bit about your property in the south of France, what you offer there, what you do, and then we'll come on to the very special things that you're offering for solo
And
women. So tell us first of all about
I
the
will, and I'll tell
Geets.
you why I did that. So I've got lovely Geets. I've got 3 Geets here in the south of France, which you're going to come see, and they are in a lovely gated courtyard. I've got a pool, and each Geet sleeps 4 people. Maybe 5. If I can, I can always get an extra bed in. But it's double bed twins, and they are very sympathetically decorated for the the region. And I love going to flea markets on a Sunday and finding lovely little sort of antiquities to furnish them with. I've done it now. I don't need to do any more. I don't need any more stuff, but I still go to them. I love them because it's part of the French lifestyle. It's a very, very authentic French village with fêtes practically every week in the summer. It's fabulous. And they're nice. They are charming, just charming, lovely Geets. That's what I like to think anyway.
Lovely. So that sounds absolutely perfect. And as you say, I'm going to come to this at the end, but having spoken to you on Monday, I went online and I'd been looking for something similar down the south of France myself, and I've booked
You
up. So I can't wait to come. Yeah, so exciting. So all was going along, and you were bowling along, and then COVID.
Yeah,
So the
the
big,
big, the
thing,
other big.
which
That obviously threw us all. I mean, no one saw that coming, and obviously the travel business, the travel and tourism industry, absolutely went completely tits up. And I
yeah.
watched all my bookings because I had been, I was always fully booked before COVID, and I just watched every single thing. They postponed it, postponed. That's what they were kind. They didn't cancel, they postponed. But that had turned out to be almost 2 years. And I remember what happening, and I remember just, what am I going to do? Not only from a sort of financial point of view, but also with my time as well. My daughter was studying her baccalaureate, which is like A levels. And I thought, my mum was always my role model. She had her own sort of secretarial bureau growing up, which was unusual in her day, to work and have her own business. She's always been, and I thought, well, I'm going to just be, I've got my mother's spirit in me, her warrior spirit, if you're into that kind of stuff, which I'm not really. But I decided, I was in a kind of I have a business coach, and I said to her, what do I do? What the hell should I do? And they said, well, we really like your Instagram. We love what you do on Instagram. Why don't you teach that? And I said, me, don't we see there's so many experts out there? And I thought, well, why not? Rather than try to be the expert, I'm going to teach people how to have fun with Instagram, you know, showing up, being authentically yourself and just having fun, not taking it too seriously. And of course, it was great. And I literally had 7 clients in 24 hours. And then I was running courses in the September, again, sort of winging it, but it was fun. And what happened with that was that I met a whole load of lovely women, actually coincidentally around my age, in business, or maybe not in business, who just wanted to know how to use Instagram so they could keep up with the youngsters. But I kind of started to cultivate this tribe, if you like. And then one day, when COVID was lifting, one of the girls said, we need to get together. We've met on Zooms. We want to meet. Let's have a reunion. Let's do it at Honours Geets. And in some ways, that was one of the kind of first all-women holidays that I kind of created. And off the back of that, various other things kind of evolved from that. So that's what happened in COVID. Instagram coaching, which incidentally I still do give the odd one-to-one if anyone ever wants a lesson, but there are better coaches out there. It's if you're a complete beginner, I'm your girl. I can't do all too fancy stuff. I haven't got the patience for it, but because I put my focus into other things that I do now.
But that in itself is a fantastic story. I think, you know, when COVID hit, it's interesting how some people rolled over, you know, oh my God, end of the world. And some people just went, okay, this has happened. What's the challenges here? What can we do about it? And we had a similar response within our business, because we sell makeup, you know, online. And it's like, well, nobody's going to be wearing makeup. I mean, for goodness sake, nobody's going to be out. No weddings, no sort of opportunities for that. And I did a similar thing to you in the sense of reaching out to people and saying, you know, I'm here. How can I help you get through this? And I made videos every day. I made 60 videos in 12 weeks. And they were just anything and everything I talked about, you know, gardening, traveling, or, you know, anything to interest people. I've had lots of people say, my God, you got me through. You know, you got me through first lockdown. And the second lockdown, we did lots of events. So, you know, in your attitude to that, somebody suggesting to you, teach Instagram, you know, and you're saying, what? But you make it happen. You make it work.
The other thing is that I still am a single mom, and I'm a role model, just like my mom was to me. I wanted to be that to my daughter. So there was that. I too, like you, I interviewed you during COVID.
You know, I know.
For you. I wanted to meet inspiring women like yourself, and you are hugely inspiring. And I also did a whole series of live wine tastings, which is really good fun as well, because I do live in the largest wine producing region in the world, so that made sense.
Okay, brilliant. And so out of that, you developed what you call magical midlife retreats, which sounds absolutely brilliant. And I'm really, really interested to know about those. So, you know, what do you do? Who are these women that come? And you've mentioned Morocco to me and things like that. So tell us all about that, because I'm really interested.
Of the Instagram reunion, and I also I have a connection here, a lady who does cookery courses with food and wine pairings, and I thought, oh, that's a really good day. I'll sell that as a, you know, come down here, we'll do that. And a whole bunch of women came and did that, but we kind of hung around together, and that was, again, those two kind of get-togethers was how I'm going to do retreats. I'm now renaming them, and I must do my website Me Treats, because I think retreat gives the idea. First of all, retreat means like going backwards. We're not going backwards. We're actually going to go forwards. Really, really big steps are taken with these, because even coming out of your comfort zone to travel solo is a big step. I'm going to call them Me Treats, because it is about looking after number one, which is yourself. And even if you're happily married, or happily not married, or whatever your situation is, you always need to take time out for you. You need to put your oxygen mask on you and look after you, because you can't look after anyone else if you don't do that. So I've ran a whole load now, and I call them my magical midlife, because I think when women come together, magic happens. It just does. I think mostly women are really, really kind to each other. I certainly seek only the kind ones and seem to attract those ones. And I say midlife is sort of mid-40s, I would say, and beyond. And because it just doesn't, who defines what that is? It's just a number, right? But I think that there is a certain thing that happens at midlife. You can say, I don't want to be defined by menopause, but we have menopause, we have, the empty nest syndrome, we have lots of midlife crises, both with the women and the men, divorces, we have the elderly parent situation going on, that bit between sandwiches, so much goes on, and it's so much to deal with. We never stop dealing with stuff as women. As teenagers, we're all, right from the beginning, we always deal with stuff, but that is a really big time, and I think there's a lot of confusion. So it's when we need to come together and be there for each other. So my retreats or me treats are not overly prescribed. They're not yoga retreats. There's so many of them out there. You can go to any out there. The only bit of yoga-y thing I do is something called yoga nidra, which is 1 hour of I have a lady that comes in and just kind of gives us, let's reset for an hour and breathe, and just breathe in and listen to her gentle voice for 1 hour, taking us, I don't know what she does with it. Sometimes I fall asleep, but that's good. You're not supposed to, but I think it's really good relaxing. And then the rest of that day is spent right around my swimming pool and then having massages under my olive trees. We have dinners, we go to a French village market. People love a French village market. We'll go for walks in the vineyards. That cookery day with the wine and food tasting has stuck there ever since. I may look to introduce other things like macaron making courses, maybe painting, but so far this formula is working. But I will sort of change it because people come back and they want to try different things. And then we have a free day where people can do whatever they want, but we end up going to what I call the Pink Sea, beautiful old town. I'll be telling you all about this, and the beach, because it's gorgeous here. And we have there's a lot of downtime as well. There's no pressure for anyone. You can take yourself off to any corner and read a book, but it's really nice. And I think why they are lovely. Solo travel is very intimidating. It's scary. Hands up, I've never actually solo traveled myself. Yes, I've got on a plane many times and done road trips, but I've always gone to someone. And I think myself personally, I don't want to go traveling on my own and see something beautiful on my own and eat a meal on my own. I love food so much that I want to share that meal and enjoy that meal with someone. So for me, people come into my treats, it's a soft landing. One of my guests used that in her review. She said it was like a soft landing. Because kind of people have got to know me already because they've probably found me on Instagram, and they know they're going to be like-minded women who are all coming maybe from different places for different reasons, but ultimately they want some me time, and it's very respectful and very supportive. So solo women travel without the solitude, really, is what I'm offering. And I also create a WhatsApp group before they arrive, so some of them can get together, and maybe meet up at the airport, so that they don't even travel alone. And Anne, who's here listening to us, has been on my retreat and is encouraging some one of your followers there to give it a go. Thank you, Anne, for that. And also from it, I've made amazing friends. You never ever know who is your new best friend going to be, and I have made some lifelong friends from my retreats. So yeah.
Yeah, I echo absolutely everything that you say, and my own experience. Very briefly, I actually had a house a little bit north of where you are for 24 years, which was always the place that I went, and that was family and friends, and that was very known and safe. And then during COVID, I decided to put it on the market and sell it. It became more of a burden than a pleasure, and COVID accelerated that. So since then, I've been free, but it's the world is my oyster, but I'm on my own, I'm divorced, and it's like, where can I go that I know that I'm going to be safe, enjoy it, have fun, all that. And so I've done a very similar thing of joining. I go on painting holidays, for instance. First time I painted it, lifted up a paintbrush about 2 years ago. But the point is that it doesn't matter that I'm a total amateur, so are other people. The thing is, the
Yeah.
community, the people, they're always women, they're lovely. The women are always so nice. and the places are beautiful. You know, a lot of them are in Italy, and it's just like, this is it. This is what I need.
Mm.
And it's totally what you're saying. It's about community. It's about friendship. It's about having a nice time, but feeling completely comfortable
Yeah.
in every way. In every way. And in fact, I went on a one a month ago, and I got on the plane, sat down, got chatting to the lovely woman next to me, and she said, "Oh, I'm on a flavors holiday. I'm going to learn to do." I think she was doing cookery or Pilates or something. So I said, "Oh, me too." So we weren't on the same holiday, but we had the
Yeah.
same conversation because we were we were
Yeah.
like-minded people. So echo totally all of that you said there, and anybody listening to this and wondering what to do and how to go about it. I mean, these are all the things that you and I can thoroughly
Yeah.
recommend in terms of what you're looking for, really. Which actually brings me to well, before that, actually, I'm going to ask your top tips, because I think it's important that you tell us what you think your top tips are for this process. But before that, you've also created a very powerful, I think, community of midlife women in other ways. So you offer other things. So tell us more about that, because I think there are people listening to this who would really like to know how to join you.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that as well. As Sophie Husband said, she loves the Me Treats concept. She's got a single important person method. I love that, Sophia. That's fabulous. I and both my parents, she mentioned that her parents died before midlife, mine too. I had, after my husband left me, sometime after, I met the love of my life. And in November 22, I was in Morocco, and by the way, I do retreats to Morocco, and I will go to other countries. I'm looking to explore other venues, not just my place here in France. But back to what I created. Out of the blue, he dumped me, completely dumped me. And by the way, Tricia, we got back together again, and he dumped me on Monday, just before I spoke to you. So if I look crap on Monday when I was speaking to you, I had been crying my eyes out an hour beforehand. Anyway, that's another story. It's over. But he dumped me out of the blue. He was the love of my life. I'm the love of his life. The guy has commitment issues. I was so thrown. I was more thrown by him than my ex-husband in some ways. My ex-husband has been financially trying to destroy me forever. And this guy just broke my heart. And I just thought, God, it's not that I'm done with men, but I surround myself with people that lift me up, that raise me, and they tend to be women. I do have a few guy friends that I've known forever, but I just needed to protect myself. And I think surrounding yourself with excellence is always a good thing, whether it's in work, with a good team, or in life. And I thought, well, if I need to build a community around me, then there are other women that need this community too. It's not just me. And actually, again, my business coach, who I give a lot of credit to, who told me to do the Instagram coaching, said, "Honor, you're a networker. You really need to build a community." I don't know how to. Oh, she said, "Just do it, will you?" So literally, kind of in that moment of being, oh my God, what do I do now? Again, flailing around. I'm in another country. What am I going to do? I set up this my magical midlife membership. And I launched it on January the 1st, 2023. And within about a month, I already had 100 members. And it's kind of plateaued like that ever since, really. I'd love to grow it because I think it's so valuable. And what happens is we have regular online meetings and catch-ups, and often you only get a few come, but with that one person needs to see somebody and having a bad day, whatever, when they want to bitch about their husband, their family, or they're lonely, or whatever, or their dog's died, or something else has happened, or something good has happened, it's good stuff too, then we have these catch-ups. I also have regular guest experts and inspirational women, and I'm negotiating a date with Amelia to get you on to be one of our lovely inspirational speakers, stroke guest expert, to come and talk about all sorts of subjects that we want to hear about, from anything from nutrition and fitness and planning your death to sex and sex health and beauty, you name it. I love interviewing women and hearing their stories. And in my group, I have got women who are younger. And I remember asking one of them, "Why did you join this?" She goes, "Because I want to know that at 50, life isn't over. Just like the women at 50 want to know at 60, life isn't over. Just like I'm nearly 60 and I want to know that at 70 or 60, 65, 70, life goes on. And so it's wonderful having these inspirational women all the time that are around us and that lift each other up. And that's what I kind of created it for me, but also everybody else as well. So yeah, I'm very proud.
Well, there's so much about what you just said there. First of all, unbelievably sad, sorry that that that's happened to you. I feel for you. That's horrible, horrible thing to happen. And you're a strong woman, and you don't want to hear this now, but he's not. If he can't see how lovely you are, and he's not worth it. Ugh. Don't get me started on
Yeah,
that subject because
yeah,
I could talk on that for great length of time. Just on the life doesn't end at. I started Look Fabulous Forever when I was
yes.
65. I'm now 76, and I have had the best 10 years of my life.
Which is what I need to spread the word, share with all the women, and tell the world, because it's amazing. Because we are showing the younger generations that we don't knit at the age of 50 or 60. This is what we do. People like you.
Well, absolutely that, and it's like when I decided to start this new business at 65 as a hobby, as something to keep me, off the street, so to speak, stop watching so much television. The thing is that I had nothing to lose and I had everything to gain, if you like. So the risk was low, the benefits potentially were high, and I have become since then a very passionate advocate to say to women, for goodness sake, we are amazing. Women are amazing. They're amazing with each other and they're amazing in what they're able to do. And we should never, ever think of age as any kind of barrier to anything. In the last 10 years, I've done so many amazing things that I would not have thought possible. One of which, and I'll just mention this because it was possibly the most bizarre and surreal. Me and my daughters, who both work with me in the business, we went to the Oscars in
Oh, how'd you
LA,
get it?
in
How'd you get to that?
in Hollywood. I mean, if you told me when I started Live Fabulous Forever at the age of 65 that I would, I'd end up going to the Oscars and going to Elton John's after party, it's like, why or how would that happen? And it's because we were approached by somebody in LA, a Brit, who said, we can get you some product in the Oscar goodie bags. We'll put, if you're interested, I can organize this, I can do it. We did it. And then he said, so come over and I'll arrange for events. I'll arrange for you to do talks. I can get you on the radio, local radio, all that sort of stuff, which we did. So we went over for a week. And on the day of the Oscars, we got up, we got washed, washed and dressed. We got dressed up, we got done, and we went. And we were standing, we were press, officially we were press, and we were standing on the red carpet for the Oscars at the Elton John after party. We saw all these amazing people coming in, and they kept grabbing me, saying, "Oh my God, look, that's how." Oh my God, look. So it was crazy. And it's like, if you don't close your life down and think, this is me done, I'm over, then who knows what will happen. And that was just one of the amazing
And
things that have happened. So
yeah,
yeah, go on.
some people here, Moira Scott said, totally needed to hear this today, and I think absolutely your story is hugely inspirational, and it should be on the NHS. It's kind of these sort of stories give us kind of keep us going on a bad day. And what I also love is that tomorrow, we don't know what tomorrow may bring. Yes, sometimes it brings horrible plot twists, but then other times those plot twists could be good, and we've got to be open to that as well. And thank you to all my lovely members that are on here saying what a lovely membership it is. I really appreciate you. Thank you for that.
Good. Good, yes, and lovely to have that affirmation from those people who are
Yeah,
there saying, I do this and I love it and so on, because it will draw other people in. And of course, that's the whole
yeah.
point, make the community as big and powerful as possible. So I'm just going to come to any top tips that you feel that you can share with us, because I'm very interested
But
in this. And yeah,
I mean, having a top tips, I mean, when you sort of Google top tips for solo travel, it often kind of, it will give you a list of, keep your wits about you and all that kind of stuff. It depends what kind of traveling you're going to be doing. I mean, I went backpacking in my late 20s, albeit with a boyfriend. There would be certain tips for that kind of travel. But for me, because I don't really want to do that travel, it's out of my comfort zone. So that's why I offer these kind of comfortable, intimate gatherings where you can travel solo, but you're not going to be alone. And there's still a lot of people that won't even do that. They're fighting to get even on a plane. And I'm saying to you, and this is really cliche, you have got one life, live it. And, you don't know what will happen. You don't know. If you don't know it, you'll never know. If you don't try it, you'll never know. And feel the fear and just do it anyway, because you'll never regret doing it, I think, but you may regret not doing it, perhaps something like that. I mean, trust me, I have regrets in my life, but never with a holiday. And it can't go, how wrong can it go? What's the worst that can happen? Actually, what's the best that could happen? You're going to come back with at least 1 or 2 lifelong friends, I promise you. Possibly a suntan, maybe a few kilos more, who knows. And Eve's in my group, and she's actually in my Jeep, just there, staying there right now, listening to this. It's a really, really, really what's the word, empowering thing to do as well. Even when I kind of get on the plane on my own, not encumbered by a young child or even anybody else to think about, you can go and sit where you want at the airport. You can drink and eat what you want. You can do what you want. It's really empowering. But I think going to a meet treat or a group thing just gives you that little bit of comfort zone. So rather than, if you're not comfortable about stepping out of your comfort zone, maybe just push those barriers a little bit further out so that you've got more space to play with. And maybe I sit somewhere, I offer that in between. I think it's just, remember this, you do only have one life. That's it. No rehearsal.
Totally, 100% echo that. Feel the fear and do it anyway, which is a brilliant book, in fact. Always, push yourself to out of your comfort zone. That's easy for me to say, and I know it's much more difficult than that. But my experience over the last 2 or 3 years, since I have been doing these trips on my own, so flying, driving, whatever, is that people generally are incredibly kind. And we tend to think that the world is a deep, dark, dangerous place full of really horrible people, and it's quite the reverse. And actually, if you are a bit older, as as I now am, people are
Yes,
especially
indeed.
kind, because they just
Yeah,
are, they're just
yeah.
nice. And I've had some lovely conversations with people, lovely conversations with strangers. And I'm not a particularly extrovert person, and I'm not a particularly friendly person, which sounds a terrible thing to say. But I'm kind of quite happy in my own skin. I'm quite happy in my own space. But actually, when I do put myself out a little bit, I find the response comes back hundredfold, and it's lovely. And I would absolutely recommend, say to people, the first time you do it might be a bit daunting, but the alternative is to stay at home and do nothing, and that's not a life.
You what you give, you get back. And like my
Yes.
membership or anything you do, the more you put in, the more you will get out. And Siobhan, who's just messaged here, and she's I actually did something that was very, very out of my comfort zone, which was traveling in a motorhome, her home, throughout France for 2 weeks. And I did it, and it was really good fun. And I pushed myself out my comfort zone, and hey, I didn't just survive, I thrived. So there you go.
Yeah. And I'm going to be driving down to
Yeah.
your place on my own. I shall do it alone, and I'm going to take it really reasonably slowly. I'm going to stay at 2 fantastic places on the way down and on the way back. That will be part of my holiday, a part of the enjoyment. And I'm not daunted by that at all. I love driving. I particularly like driving in France. I'm very familiar with the French roads. So that whole thing is part of the adventure. And
That's very brave to me. I'm impressed by that, because you're traveling on your own. At the payage, you've got to get out and go around the car to get the ticket, and you're always worried about all the people behind you. You've got to eat on your own, sleep. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, but you could see it like that, or for me, inside my head, I see it as an adventure, and I am really, really looking forward to it. I absolutely am, and I can't wait to meet you in person. That will be fun, and I'm going to bring my painting stuff so that I can do some of that. But I'm really, really looking forward to it. And we're just going to finish. I just want you to make sure that everybody knows on the call who doesn't know how to join you. the places they can find you so that, you know, they don't miss out. So just tell us a
Well,
little
that's
bit
very
about
sweet.
that.
Thank you. Obviously, if you go and follow me, thank you very much for doing that. And if you go to my link tree in my bio, you've got my website for my Geets, you've got my website for my me treats. I've still got 2 in September and October, and they're not fully booked yet. I've got a couple of beds left. And then you can join my mailing list to go on get my newsletters, my erratically, inconsistently written newsletters. But at least you'll be first to know about other retreats, not just in France, in other countries coming up. And also my membership, of course. It's all in the link tree drop underneath my bio on my Instagram, honestly with honor. So go and follow me there if you will. I have got a Maison de la Roche, that's the name of my Geets account as well. All that information's in my bio. And can I just say something here to you? I mean, I do think you're amazing, and I really can't wait to meet you. But I just your products. Let me give you a little bit of a promo. Your products. You've been very generous in the past. I've had your products, and they are fantastic. They are really, really good products, and I love the whole ethos behind them. I love the fact that you use the word pro-age. There is not an anti-age on it. That's another thing that we both agree about. So buy Tricia's products, people. Go and buy.
Thank you. And just finishing on that, my philosophy when I started the business at 65, I was very, very miffed about the anti-age movement, rhetoric of the beauty industry. And I thought I want to do a completely different type of beauty and makeup company where we're going to celebrate aging. We're going to value our aging faces. We're not going to talk about Botox and, injectables and all that sort of stuff. We're going to say, an older face is as beautiful as a younger face. It's just different. And I just feel like we've got to stop this ageist
Yeah, I
nonsense of being terrified of getting older.
completely agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, because we are all living longer. Longevity is, if we're lucky, is going to be what we will get if we're lucky. And we can't spend 20 years of it moaning, groaning, and thinking that we're somehow lesser because we're older.
Absolutely.
It's a nonsense,
You
and
can't
it has to stop now.
can't stop aging, and whatever you do, we don't know the long-term effects also, but actually it doesn't we growing older gracefully, and in my case sometimes disgracefully, is the only way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was absolutely brilliant. I've already talked about coming down, and I'm looking forward to it enormously. Thank you to everybody. Possibly any questions, but maybe not. No, okay.
Add me as a collaborator when your lovely assistant finishes it. Then we can have this interview on both of our accounts. I can't wait to meet you. Drive carefully, but I'm gonna make sure you have the best holiday ever. And that will just being here in this blue sunshine should be a good start, I should hope. But
100%.
Thank you for this. I appreciate it immensely.
Well, thank you, Anna. Thank you to everybody who came this morning and watched this. And we hope we were helpful and gave you lots of hints, tips, and inspiration this morning. So bye-bye, everybody, and thank
Thank
you.
you.